All right, so we are live. Let's check the audio and let's share Discord. Where's my Discord? Ugh, wrong one. Discord share. Share. Why is it not sharing my Discord? Wait, there's too many Discords open. Let's close this Discord. Let's close this. Try this again. Too many windows open. All right. So Discord share. Okay, much better. So let's see that the audio is. Yeah, the audio sounds good. All right. So let's see what we got. Let's see if we. I mean, it's Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Let's see if anybody wants to talk. Yeah. So no one here. No one here. Nope. I was on this server today. This server. No one here. This server. Yeah, this is a British server. No one here now. This seems to be a good server. Relatively speaking. Let's see. Simply Gospel. Oh,
Harding, do you believe that Christ was a man?
Do I believe that Christ was a man? Well, I feel like I'm going to be led down some sort of weird path, but yes.
Right, yeah. Okay. So,
Do the fucking same things.
hello.
Hit him with a fucking, what's it called? The collar, bro. The tire collar.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hold on.
You don't fucking wonder all those videos are from fucking Brazil. I mean, this fucking is like a fucking ethnic horror story.
Hey, sorry to interrupt.
The center of town. They beat his ass. They throw him in the middle, and they put car tires on him. Now,
And nowhere.
what they do is they light those tires on fire.
Hello. Hello. Can anybody hear me? Hello.
You just got locked out of occultism for what?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Occultism? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. What is occultism? I was in esotericism, and before that I was in Simply Gospel and followers of something, I don't know. I did go, yeah, I'm locked out of occultism. How do you know?
I just clicked on your thing and it showed you're locked out.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if I've ever been to occultism, but I guess they locked me out. I mean, yeah, people don't like me. A lot of times I ruffle feathers the wrong way, I think is the idiomatic expression. Some people, I guess, don't like me for some reason. Do you want to debate? I'm always looking to debate people. Are you interested?
What topic?
Actually, I have a very long list of topics that I can send you a link. I can post a link. Right, it's impossible to post, right? I don't know why they did it, but it's impossible to post links here. So this is Pragmatist. I'll go to the Pragmatist text chat and I'll paste a link to the website. Do you click on links to websites? It's a Google website, so it should be safe. It's my website. I wrote it. It's only text. Can you see it? Hello?
What? What topic do you want to talk about?
I just posted a link in the text chat of Pragmatist. So the link
Oh
is-
yeah, I don't click on links. You're
Oh,
cool.
okay. So here I'll tell you some ideas. Oh, I gave you the wrong page anyway. My debate propositions. Let's go to something like what do you know about the current banking crisis? Do you think there is a banking crisis, or do you think it's fake?
What country?
United States, they just shut down 2 banks, I think.
Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah, Silicon Valley Bank is one of them, yeah. They shut it down.
But it was covered. But the FDIC covered it.
No. FDIC only covers up to
Yeah.
$250,000. They fully covered all the accounts. The federal government, I think. I don't know who paid the money. Not the FDIC. FDIC is up to $250,000 per account or something, or maybe $500,000. But no, they covered everything. They gave everyone their money back.
Okay. So is that a crisis?
Um, I mean, okay, so as far as I know, there was no reason to shut this bank. There was no reason to shut it down. The bank, I mean, why did they shut it down? Why did this bank shut down? What reason was there to shut it down?
I have no idea.
Right. There was no reason to shut it down. It's the regulators. It's anyway, but if you, are you familiar with economics at all? With finance, with anything?
Very a little bit, not too much. Sam is pretty knowledgeable about this.
Sam? But he's not responding. He's not talking. So it doesn't matter. I mean, if you don't know, I mean, I know very little about it. The little that I know is that it's what I heard. It's actually the regulators. You know, you pay a regulator to panic, so he panics. Otherwise, why is he getting? Why are you paying him? What is a regulator? What is a bank regulator? What is the regulator of the banks? Right? Whatever. I don't. I forgot the name of the position. But there's a governmental agency. There's a government agent. You tell him, all right, you're responsible for the banks. You are the you need to regulate the banks. Now, if there's no crisis, then who needs him? But if there is a crisis, oh, then suddenly he becomes important. So the interest of the regulators is to wreak havoc on any system they're supposed to regulate. They don't have an interest in stabilizing anything. Because if everything is perfect, then who needs you? Right? If imagine you have a job. Imagine you're a police officer, but there's no crime. If there's no crime, they're going to fire you. So your interest now becomes to create crime. The interest of the police is to create crime. The interest of the justice system is to create crime because that is their source of income. So the
No,
interest.
it's not. They don't have they don't get income when the crime is up.
Well, but if there's no crime, you're gonna fire police officers. You're gonna shut down.
No, not really.
I mean, if there's no crime, imagine a town with no crime. There's just no crime. So each police officer, they make a lot of money. They can make $250,000 a year per police officer, and that's a lot of money. If there's no crime, what's the point? What's the point? It's just the salary. I mean, but the police department has costs, and the cars, the police cars, and the equipment and the guns. I mean,
But that's all budgeted by the city or the state or whatever municipality. That's budgeted.
Sure.
It's not like it's like they bring in a certain amount of income and they survive that way. It's not based on what they bring in.
Sure.
It's based on results. And so when we have things like quotas and stuff, yeah, it's true. We run into problems where they try to have efficiency levels higher and they fire people.
No.
But then they end up having to rehire and retrain people, and they lose all of that, all of their built up training. And so they find out that it's actually cheaper in the long run to keep them and not to fire them and rehire.
Look, you are a police officer and you see crime going down to zero and there's nothing for you to do. How long do you think they're
It's
going
a
to
good
keep?
thing.
What? How
Police
long?
officers don't want to have to deal with crime.
How long do
They
you
don't
think?
want to have to deal with it.
Fine, but how long do you think? You as a police officer, how long do you think they're going to keep employing you for doing absolutely nothing? They're not going to, right? It doesn't make any sense for them to continue paying you a huge salary, and not just the salary, the costs. You have a car and guns and
You're not thinking straight. So here's the best part. Okay, let's say you've got a certain police force, and there's no crime in your area. The police have the best case for increasing or keeping their budget exactly the same, because they go, look, we're doing such a great job. There's no crime. It's because of us. It's the deterrent. We made it happen. Our numbers are great and they're stellar. You see how that works for budgeting? It doesn't. It's a perfect relationship. They want less crime to be there because it looks like they're doing their job.
You as a police officer, it doesn't, not even as a police officer, you as a doctor, you as a nurse, you as anything, as any employee in any capacity of any office, of anything, you work for Mark Zuckerberg solving bugs, but now they started using ChatGPT and there's no more bugs, and you have nothing to do. You're sitting there with your thumbs up your, playing with your thumbs, twirling
It's
your
not
thumbs.
really comparable. Like those aren't analogous. Like the police officers, regulators, government officials, plus versus like in the corporate sphere and like in debugging, it's not going to be the same. They have different results to show. So like a regulator who is in term over a period where there's no crisis is done a good job. They've averted all crises. Their numbers look good.
Okay, but you as an employee of any department, it doesn't matter of anything. If you have a lot of work, then okay, you're important. You can show, hey, look, I solved so many X things. I produced so many X units. I did so and so. I did something. Here's my output. But if there is nothing to do, you cannot show output. You're just sitting there day and night looking at the stars. It doesn't matter in what position, you're going to become worried that they're going to oust you. They're going to get rid of you because what's the point? It's I'm saying it's you as the employee. If you are not doing anything, if there's no work to be done, you very quickly will be worried, hey, I'm going to get fired. There's no way they're going to keep me doing nothing forever. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, right, but did you even hear my answer to the first two things, the regulator and the police officer?
Okay, but I heard, yeah, but I'm saying you as the employee, doing nothing.
Right, but a regulator and a police officer aren't doing nothing, right? So the police officer, they have a beat or they have an area that they respond to. They go and do that. No crime results. They don't have to interact. They probably interact with people, but they don't have to interact with any crime. It's good for them. And then at the end of the month, when they ask, hey, is there any crime in your sector? And they go, nope, no crime in my sector. Oh, great. You're doing a great job. Let's increase your funding.
What?
Not let's fire you.
Well, no, but look, you have to balance funding. There's areas with more crime, areas with less crime. Where are you going to funnel your budget to and from? You're going to budget from area with less crime to areas with more crime.
Well,
right?
you might have you wouldn't necessarily be from to. It would probably be simply just increase our total budget so we can increase for these areas.
But there's a limit. There is a budget, every every unit has a budget that it has to work within that budget. So let's say a state or a county has a budget. Let's say, I don't know if counties in the
Yeah, but
US,
why would that mess with that guy's job security? Everything he's doing in his sector is working.
but there's
So
nothing to
no, they
do.
would be like, great, you're good.
But there's
No,
nothing.
there's no whatever he's doing. There's no crime there.
But there's nothing to
So
do.
numbers wise, the way they the metrics for these things is very interesting. If he has interactions but no crime and he doesn't have to do anything, his deterrence levels are perfect.
But
So
the-
they would probably say, "Oh, we should probably whatever model he's doing, we should replicate that in the rest of the sectors."
What do you mean model? I mean, if there's, but he's not. He didn't do anything. It's just that, for some reason, let's say a police officer, crime went down. Nobody even knows why. Maybe crime went down everywhere. Maybe crime. So you would take the budget of the police department and move it, let's say, to the schools or to the hospitals or to the elderly, or to repair the streets or to repair the sidewalks or to repair the infrastructure. There's always something to invest in. It does, right? But the point is, you as the police officer, you as the employee doing nothing, you will very quickly become worried that your job security is in jeopardy.
No, I mean, I could see that for a fire department, but for police, it's way different. It's just not a good example.
It doesn't
A
matter.
fire department seems to make more sense because it's not based on like they can't prevent fires, but police officers do have a position of being a deterrent to crime. Their presence in an area is a deterrent, so maybe use the fireman example. Like there are true examples of firemen who start fires.
All right, so that's a good example. No, but in general, this is it's not my idea. This is called the principal agent problem in game theory. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of game theory. I'm not fully versed in it.
What
though.
no, there's nothing to be well versed in. It's what I told you is that is the principal agent problem. It's an entry in Wikipedia. If you want, I can link it. Wiki principal agent problem. I'll just link it. Oh, you don't click links. Doesn't matter. You're not even to Wikipedia? You see that? Hello?
Sorry, what? Hold on.
Hold on. Do you see the thing I just shared? Are you coming back? La 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 la. All right, let's see if we can find any other streams or channels. You have to figure that. Did you follow the instructions the bot gave you? A bot gave me instructions? Please check out the rules. 357, 140. Maybe I have to click all of these? I don't know.
Okay, I'm back. What's up?
Hey. So do you see the principal agent link that I shared?
Sure, yeah.
All right, so if you go to that entry in Wikipedia, that's basically what they explain, that the job that you hire a person for, he doesn't have an interest to do the job, because if he does the job is gone. So his interest is to not do the job, to make sure the job is never done, the job is never complete. So the interest of,
Sure, but that doesn't apply to every job.
I mean, in game theory, yeah, I mean, name a job where it doesn't apply. It applies to every job.
I just told you the police officer one. It specifically they don't. If crime happens more, it's a negative on their because they're a deterrent. So it would be a negative. They're happy when they're doing nothing because it shows that they're being a deterrent
Okay,
is successful.
let's look it up. Let's look it up. So, what I'm gonna Google it. What happens to police department budgets as crime goes down? You're saying it's not going to change. It's going to go up. Let's see.
I mean, are you talking about cities or suburbs? Because I think there's a considerable difference.
Yeah, it
with
depends on the
handle crime.
municipality and the people who are controlling it. City, like states, are going to be way different because they budget differently. But cities, I think, would be good. Cities and municipalities.
Because if you compare, like, for example, suburbs with low crime still pay a lot for police departments.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
No,
they want
no.
them on. Yeah, they do.
No, I'm not saying.
Tempe's a good example. Tempe would pay really high amounts for good police officers from all over the country because they just were having a problem finding enough personnel and retaining them.
Isn't
And
there studies that show, like, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the policing where they walk around and they get to know people and stuff actually does actively deter crime.
Yeah,
You mean
community
protecting
policing.
and serving?
No, my point is in general, if you do your job to such a degree that there's no more job to do, then you're destroying your own job security. It doesn't matter.
That's not how it works with police.
No, it's with any job. Any job, right? They hire you to do a job. If you do the job so perfectly that the job is gone, then
No, that's not how government jobs work.
I mean,
look, for example, I'm from Chicago. Chicago has a lot of crime. There is not a lack of or excess of funding for police officers. They just refuse to act in certain situations.
that's different.
That is a completely different situation than what you're describing.
Yeah, that's different. No, I'm saying, let's say in a normal situation where crime in a town goes to zero and there's no more crime. So you as the police officer, you're sitting all day doing nothing. You're going to start worrying about your job security. Sooner or later, they're going to say, okay, you're doing nothing, so either we'll let you go or maybe we'll move you to another town where there's more crime, or maybe, but you're going to start worrying about your job security if you have nothing to do, right? I'm not saying something bizarre. I'm saying something.
You kind of are, because it's going over your head that it's like it's a government job. It's not going anywhere unless someone in like said town is actively pushing against it.
What do you mean it's a town?
Because I don't know what scale we're going on here.
It's a town. Let's go with a town.
I don't. It's kind of anecdotal, but it reminds me of there was this police department where I live that they're in a small town, and so they decided that they don't need a police department because they had 4 police. And then once they did away with the police department, a lot of the people in the town got mad and went to the town council and was like, we want the police department back because we like having police around, because if there is something reason we need them, we don't have to wait like 30 minutes or an hour for the sheriff's department to respond.
Exactly. That's why people don't like living in unincorporated. But just to add, it's like, if let's say you're in a town where there's no fire department, you'd be pretty fucking pissed if there's a fire.
Right. But I'm saying, but
do you know how many fires there are every year?
No. But let's say
spread out. Most fire departments never see a fire a year.
The majority of calls fire departments receive are medical emergencies.
Well, yeah, because whenever an ambulance is dispatched, typically a fire truck is dispatched at the same time.
Like, no, I'm just using that as an example because I think it's an easier scale to think about. Is that if a town doesn't have a fire for, let's say, 50 years, I know that's a long shot, you're still going to have a fire department. There's no reason
Right.
not to. It's
Right,
not
but
that
let's say,
much money.
but let's say they
Well, it is a lot of
change.
money.
But let's
Well,
say,
Talking
okay,
about.
that I'm saying is that compared to the potential loss of not having a fire department, it's not a lot.
look, what you have.
So what data sheets are you looking at to make that argument?
I'm literally just saying if a bunch of houses
Do you think
burn
it's
down, it's
intuitive? Yeah,
probably
but
worse
that
than
never
not having a
happens.
fire department than the benefits you get from not having one.
Yeah, but that almost never happens. Like, there are fire-prone areas that do need fire departments, 1,000,000%. But an overwhelming majority of fire departments don't see fires.
I
They
think
just
that's
don't.
that's
Exactly.
also a thing. Probably why the majority of fire departments in America are
Voluntary.
volunteer,
Because they don't need them.
because they don't need somebody full time. And a lot of these volunteer fire departments, if you've ever visited them, they're I know a lot of the departments around me, they're just now getting actually like new equipment. The majority of them were using trucks that are from the 80s and the 90s.
Look, but my point is in
Because
general.
it's not necessary.
Circle back to the point I was trying to make is that even if you have a low crime area, you're still going to want to have like a bare minimum like police force.
Right, but I'm saying, as let's say you're a police officer and you're noticing crime dropping to zero, and you're sitting all day and all night doing nothing. So you're just sitting at your office, at your desk, waiting for any call. Nothing comes in. Everything is perfect. No one has any problem. So my claim is that sooner or later you're gonna start worrying about your job security. You're gonna realize, well, at one point the city, the town is gonna say, all right, there's no crime, so let's take the funding of the police department and put it to use, like in a school and in a hospital or sidewalks.
I think statistically that's not true. I don't think
I know.
you ever see things like the police force dialed back ever in terms of personnel. You can have people quit, and that's why you would have, a difference in personnel. But I'd like to see the stats on what are the odds
I think
the
the worst
police
thing
force is downsized, because I
The
guarantee you it's going to be very
closest-
small.
the closest I've ever seen to it is several years ago in my state. There was a big discussion about why we have Marine police, because they don't do anything. And so they're like, in order for us to justify keeping this department, we're going to expand your powers so you at least have to pull people over for traffic violations.
Yeah, if a Marine police not pulled me over, I would be as obstinate as possible.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
funny
a
'cause-
political non-starter if you're
But
a
isn't that
politician
like
or
a
city
different
council
issue?
member.
Because there's already people doing the same thing that they're doing.
All right, my point is, if you are any employee of any type and your amount of work drops and drops and drops and drops until it goes to zero, you're going to start worrying about your job security, because whatever.
You can't compare public workers. You
No.
can't
That's
compare
what
people
I
that work for
said.
the
No,
government. It's
no.
not comparable.
Wait a minute, let me finish.
Show us. Hold on.
That's true.
No.
Show us instances of state and federal employees downsizing their departments.
All right,
Any
let me
department.
ask
It doesn't happen.
let me
It
ask
does
you.
not happen.
Let me
They
ask
can
you.
lose
Let me
funding,
ask you.
but I don't think you're going to see them being downsized.
Let me ask. Wait, what did you say?
You can probably find some where they lose funding, but I think it's very unlikely that they're going to end up like downsizing by, employees.
Yeah, you know why? Because unlike every other business in the U.S., every single government, local, state, federal, can operate at a loss continuously, and it does not affect anything. They don't have to worry about actual funding.
That's what I was trying to explain earlier with the fire.
They don't. Yeah, they don't have to downsize. They don't.
No, but
That's
then
what I was trying to explain earlier.
in
They
a
just operate at a
town.
loss.
No, but in a
essentially.
town, you can
And they
have.
don't have to like worry about that.
No, but in a town, right? You have elections. You have local elections every 4 years, and you can have a new sheriff for a town or a new mayor or both, and they're going to say, we're
So
Wait a minute.
Well, no, that's
Wait, let
that's
me talk.
different because now you're bringing in sheriffs, which is including
No,
unincorporated territories, which
let me
don't
talk.
have police forces.
Let me say
They have
something.
sheriff departments.
Let me say
Yeah.
something. Let me say something. So let's say a mayor. So you could have a new mayor, and he says, "Oh, the crime is down. We don't need police. We're wasting it. We have like 20 police officers, each one receiving like $500,000 a year. This is millions."
They'll
Yeah.
lose their election. They'll lose their election.
No. But
No,
he
Look,
fucking
says,
look.
half
We
of
have
that-
a perfect
what world
example.
are you
Look,
living
hold
in?
on.
No,
We
but-
have a perfect example in L.A. They were like, "Oh, we're going to downsize our police force." They
And then
cut
in
like
crime-
they cut like a couple $100 million, and then doubled the budget the next year.
So
Okay.
Billions in additional funding
look,
just
after
looking
cutting
around,
a few
I
hundred
can
million.
relate to this.
I found
because-
one example where they did do like a cutback, but this was in 2008 when the economy crashed. New Jersey laid off over 10% of their police force, but then they had a sudden spike in crime.
okay. Well, my
Well,
point is,
because
But that's not
2008
correlated.
was
But that's not
kind of-
correlated.
That's
There's-
like a time of crisis, quote unquote.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
but-
it's similar with the COVID thing. Most of the crime spike was related to like the lockdowns.
wait, but you guys agree that if I'm a police officer and I'm flooded
No.
with phone calls all day and all night, I'm always on call and I'm always busy solving crime. Obviously, they're going to increase the budget of the police department, right, to handle a spike in crime, right?
Not okay, so not particularly because the upper brass of a police department have a commitment to lowering crime.
So
Like that is part of their like essentially moving through the ranks if they do a good job in their town, city, or whatever the fuck.
I don't understand.
It's important.
I don't understand. If there is a crime spike, wouldn't you expect the city, the town, to increase the budget of the police department and hire more police officers?
Okay, let me try to explain this.
Wait, why aren't you answering?
The chief of police
Wait, why aren't you
for a
answering?
town, government, whatever, I don't know what scale we're working at anymore,
Town.
but
That's the town.
the chief of
simple.
police
Sure.
would be saying that he wants to get rid of crime and showing that crime is decreasing. And extreme decreases in crime when they are put in their position is very good for them, and that is what they want.
No, but let's
If
say
crime increases on their watch, it is a problem for them.
no, but let's say that's the reality. The reality is crime is increasing. Wouldn't you expect the town to increase the budget of the police to cope with the
That,
crime?
if it's over a long, it would have to be over multiple years.
Fine. Let's say over multiple years, the police are not able to handle all the calls, and there is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of crime, and they need, they need a bigger budget. They need to hire more bodies, more officers. So wouldn't
Okay.
you
Now
expect?
what?
So wouldn't you expect the budget of a police department of a town to increase as crime increases?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's going to decrease as crime decreases.
All
That's
right,
not
so-
necessarily true.
So you're saying it's only one way?
A lot of the time,
It's not
yes,
always
it's a
Fine,
Government
fine.
that
I don't.
way.
That's
government-
okay. That's okay.
Look, here's a great. Look, here's the best
no, it's okay.
example.
I rest my case. I rest my
No.
case. No, I rest my
No,
case.
yeah, you lost your case.
No, I
then
rest my-
don't talk. Stop talking.
Hey, I rest my case.
Stop talking.
Hey, I rest my case.
Shut up then.
No, we brought
Fine,
up the
you're getting
police-
locally
Kappa,
muted.
chill the fuck out.
No, he's just gonna keep spamming. I rest my case when we're trying to bring up a new point. He can stop talking. If he has nothing else to say, there's no need to keep saying I rest my case.
I need to.
I would like to
So
bring up
what point
Chicago.
were you trying to say, Kappa?
Was we can look in the real world all the time when there were proposed budget increases because of these events. You never see the inverse of after the fact. You never see the budget proposals of a decrease. You don't see it in government. It's not a thing. The only thing you see is increased
Only-
funding,
that's
increased
an
taxes.
exception.
That's fine.
I think there is an exception to that, Kappa.
That's
There is an
fine.
exception when someone who is being put in a position of power is being forced to by their electoral by their electoral base. They're being told that if you run again and you don't do this, we will not vote for you. But that's very rare.
But these are only proposals. These aren't the things these guys really pass. You see
Yeah.
it all the time. They're like, oh, guys, look, I'm trying my best. But you don't see it. Like, sure, there are exceptions to the rule. But we're talking about when we look at the aggregate, the rule of thumb in almost every single case, 98% of the time, you do not see budget cuts.
I
You
don't
don't
need
see
I
to.
it.
agree.
I don't need to. That's
I'm
not.
from Chicago. I understand the problem.
Look, I don't need the budget
Like
cuts. I
these
just need.
are
I
the
don't need it.
consequences of a government job.
Look, I don't need it. Look, okay, what we're debating, we started debate. I claim that there is no banking crisis. They shut
What?
down that the proposition has to do with
Why do you
banking.
think there is no banking crisis?
I mean, you would have to, but let me just first show why I rest my case, and then we can start again.
You rest your case. You don't talk about it anymore. That's what that means.
No, let me show why I rest my case, and then I'll rest my case. So, I mean, if
That's
you
backwards.
no, that's fine. I mean, if you would have been here from the beginning, you would know why I rest my case, I think. But here, let me show you why I want to rest my case. You can argue that I cannot rest my case, so that's fine.
Okay, enough meta. Just get on with it.
Sure. Okay. So, look, the point is that the banking regulators, they have a vested interest in creating panic, because right, as long as they don't, as long as the banking system is working perfectly, then who needs the regulators? It's like the police officer. If there's no crime, who needs the police? Who needs a police officer? If there are no
What?
if there is no banking crisis, who needs the banking regulator? So the banking regulator has a vested interest
That's flawed.
in
That's not
creating.
Very,
true
yeah.
because a lot of people, like, let me try to explain this. There are a lot of criticisms of how the government bails out banks. So the government, I mean, banks are usually happy to be regulated if it means that they get, like, essentially infinite bailouts. They're very happy to be regulated if that's what it means.
A symptom of the banks being regulated is being able to lend at next to zero interest from the Federal Reserve. Banks can operate outside of banking regulation, but they have to be private banks.
Okay,
They
look,
don't have the protection of the
look,
Federal Reserve.
look. My point
And
is,
there's a reason why an overwhelming majority of banks choose not to be private banks.
okay, I'm not talking
And
about
all of the biggest banks
Okay,
choose not to be those private
this
banks.
is completely irrelevant to my point. I'm talking about the banking regulators, the
Yeah,
interest.
we're talking about banking regulation.
Yeah, no, not the regulation. The regulators. Nothing to do with the regulation.
Then why did you say 6 times in a row, if there's no banking crisis, why do you need bank regulations?
No, not
You are talking about
regulations.
bank
No.
regulations.
I typed it in the pragmatist text chat. I put my resolution, my proposition. The proposition is about the banking regulators. That there is no
Right there, regulations. You did
no
type it right there.
regulators. No, nothing to do
Right
with
there.
no, nothing to do
Right
with
there, regulations.
no.
Typed it right
The
there.
What do you mean right
regulators
there?
aren't
Right
the
there
ones
where?
panicking, though. This is already flawed. The regulators are not the ones panicking because it is within the banks. I mean, okay, it depends on the bank. I'll give you this. It depends on whether they're public or private, or et cetera, et cetera. But if you're an FDIC insured bank, you're fine. If a crisis happens, you're actually more inclined to be spreading that.
What do you
You
mean you're
want
fine?
people to put bank runs at your
FDIC
competitors that
FDI
aren't FDIC.
FDIC doesn't cover
That's
fully.
what you want.
No, FDIC does not cover fully all the accounts. It only covers the first $250,000. Some
Well,
accounts.
that's
will-
not true. Hold on, that's not true
Americans-
anymore. That's not true anymore. The FDIC just set a precedence to
Right.
ensure all accounts.
Right.
The FDIC just set the precedence.
Anyway,
even
look,
then, how
look.
many
My
people
point is
keep,
that it
like,
is the
$250
interest of.
million in their bank?
Look, my point goes to the principal agent problem in game theory. I'm just applying it to banking regulators. I'm not the first one to do it. I'm just saying this banking crisis is just another instance of the principal agent problem from game theory applied to this banking crisis. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything new. So
No,
I'm
That
saying
doesn't mean what you're saying is correct.
You're just talking
fine.
about the wrong people.
I mean, but look, look,
You
a
get it. You got
banking-
it like backwards.
Look, if you
about
were
who is
look,
actually self-interested.
Look, if you were a banking regulator, and there's no panic and everything is perfect, it's not as good as if there is a panic and everything is falling apart and now everybody's turning to you, do something, right? You're the one who's supposed to do something, and now you're suddenly more important. So your interest right, this is the principal agent problem. Your interest as a banking regulator is to destabilize the banking system, incredibly enough.
No.
Why not?
If you're caught purposefully allowing these types of problems to happen, you lose everything. Not just your job. You go to fucking federal prison.
There's more vested interest to not allow that to happen than there is to allow it to happen. It's incoherent to think.
Okay, fine.
That,
Wait, allow
but
what?
that would be like saying it's Congress's vested position pass bad laws so they can pass more laws.
Exactly. That is the principal agent problem in game theory. This is the link I posted. That's exactly what game theory says. That's exactly it.
But it's wrong.
No, you have to take it into account. You can't say it's wrong or not. I mean, there is that interest. The interest exists. You can always say, okay, it has a balance. It's limited.
Look, there's a difference in saying that it applies to this case and saying it exists. You're trying to couple them together, and I'm pointing out that that's not true in this
Then
instance.
you tell me, why did they shut down the Silicon Valley Bank?
Because there was a bank run. That's why they shut it down. Why else would they shut it down? If there wasn't a bank run, they wouldn't have crashed. The whole reason they crashed was because everyone started liquidating. And 3 years ago, they passed regulations saying that fractional reserve banks don't need to keep any amount of assets in liquid. It used to be 15 or 30%. It's now 0, which is a really bad idea. But they don't have to keep any money in liquid now. They can loan out 100% of all vested accounts. It doesn't
say that. Look, I'm looking at Investopedia. I just looked it up. Let me copy it. It doesn't say there was a bank run. There was no mention of a bank run. Here is from Investopedia. That's the
bank
first
run.
Look up
Silicon Valley.
I mean, I just put, why did Bank of Silicon Valley close? This is Silicon Valley
right
Bank.
there. It's the depositors withdrew large amounts of money, among other factors. That's a bank run.
Wait.
That's what a bank run is.
Wait, the bank was shut down after its investments greatly decreased in value, and its depositors withdrew large amounts of money, among other factors.
That's what a bank run is. The only reason the bank run happened is because their stock went down. That doesn't mean the bank run isn't what crashed the fucking bank.
Here you go. Look.
I mean,
every single one, every single website, bank run.
Wait,
look.
What are you doing?
Bank run.
Wait, what are you doing?
I'm posting every single article on the issue. Every single one. Business Insider. Bank run. They're all bank runs. Fortune. Bank run. CNN. Bank run. NPR. Bank run. Bloomberg. Bank run. What else do you need to not know what's a bank run? Anything else?
Oh, this dude's streaming.
No. It's a good point. Let me see. So what caused the bank run? I mean, any bank can...
their assets greatly depreciating. People wanted their money out because almost every single account in the Silicon Valley Bank was greater than the $250,000 FDIC guarantee. So when people saw the assets in the bank crashing, they went to pull their money out.
Let me see. Late last week, SVB clients, many of them tech startups, pulled their money from the bank en masse, forcing regulators to step in and seize deposits in what became the second largest bank failure in history. Some lay blame at the feet of the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hiking regime. Yeah, okay. You're making a good point. So you're saying that the bank run. But why did suddenly everyone run to get their money out? Why did that happen?
Because the assets were failing. Look.
What do you mean?
Silicon Valley, every account's above the $250,000 mark.
What do you mean? What do you mean failing? No, but what do you mean by failing? You said there something was failing?
No, I said the assets were depreciating.
What assets, for example?
The bank's assets. What do you mean? What assets? The assets the bank holds.
Why would they suddenly depreciate?
Because
their stock went down.
Yeah,
their stock went down.
Stock is just stock is not the assets.
Yes, it is.
What do you know?
For banks, it is.
No, the bank doesn't hold its own stocks.
No, but people hold the stocks of the bank.
So
The bank's valuation is a large part due to their stock.
So what?
So the value of the stock is a large portion of how much money and how many assets the bank has.
No.
So when there is a large dip in value of the stock, that means the bank's total portfolio is dipping.
Wait
and
a
when
minute.
the total portfolio dips,
No.
that means all of the assets the bank holds dips.
Wait a minute. The share price of a company has nothing to do with the assets, with the balance sheet of the
It
company.
does. It's literally okay. Each share is worth a portion of a company. The more the share is worth, the more the company is worth.
Yeah, but this is
when the
nothing...
shares go down, it is an indication of the entire company's worth decreasing.
No, but a company has a balance sheet, and in the balance sheet of the company, it has, whatever assets and whatever liabilities, right? That's the balance sheet. So that didn't change, or did it? I mean, that has to change in order for a panic to occur.
They go in tandem because banks invest the money. Banks don't have liquid money for the most part. That money is invested.
Right.
So when the stocks go down, their portfolio goes down.
Let me ask you this. Why did the stock of SVB, it dipped? Why did it dip? Is this what you're claiming?
That's the current debate. Why did it go down?
So,
no one knows. That's the real answer. But the reason
they're saying the Federal Reserve. Go ahead.
Okay, the reason the bank run happened is because of the stock dip. That's the important thing.
Okay, and why did the stock dip? So
that's the current debate.
Why did SVB?
No one knows. You're gonna look it up. There's not a clear answer. There's no clear answer.
SVB financial shares.
They're currently finger pointing the FDIC
after revealing that it has realized a 1.8 billion loss after selling 21 billion of its available for sale securities from its portfolio to make up for the loss and to shore up its finances. SVB said it planned to raise 2.25 billion to build up its finances,
and it was short.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I heard. I heard that it was Friday afternoon that
the bank failed on like a Tuesday. Bank ran happened on Monday.
Right, but it all started.
They watched the stock over the weekend.
Exactly.
Plummet.
It started on a Friday night when the regulators came out panicking. The regulators started the panic. That's what I heard.
No, the CEO, CFO, and a large portion of people in charge at the bank had liquidated most of their personal holdings in the company the week before. Millions of stock. They liquidated it, which that's one cause. Another cause is the ever so tightening grip of the Federal Reserve in bumping up base points on interest. And other poor mismanagement of capital, which is what the business cycle is. That's why we have crashes. Is mismanagement of capital.
Didn't they say?
So it's those three things.
Didn't they say SVB is like the best example of a bank or something? Wasn't SVB like supposed to be the shiniest example of a great bank?
According to who? Jim Cramer?
No, I don't know who else. Only Jim Cramer said that.
Jim Cramer's a funny.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count him. The bank vulnerability was the result of having a high proportion of uninsured deposits and a large proportion of deposits invested in hold-to-maturity securities. The failure of the Silicon Valley Bank in March 23 has sent ripples to. Okay, that doesn't matter. The question is, what started this avalanche? So what happened?
Well, arguably, what started the avalanche is the Federal Reserve should have increased its interest rates back in 2018.
No.
They've been artificially inflated since 2018.
Okay,
or deflated.
Why SVB? Why SVB? What's different about SVB than the rest of the banks in the world? Why SVB?
They just so happen to have one of the worst asset diversifications, I guess. I don't know, or asset management.
They did a poor job of being a bank. They're not different. They're just bad at it. I don't know how to simplify it.
No, why did SVB stocks shares dip like that? What
Just told
happened?
you.
What's the answer?
We just don't.
Well, you said we don't know. So what's the answer?
I just gave you like 5 reasons. There's
No.
no single cause.
No, can you
But I just gave
actually-
you 5 separate reasons.
No. Okay, give me the one like strong one.
There is no one. It's an amalgamation because other banks
me one of
experienced the same thing that they didn't crash.
I mean, the stock price dipped. So what? Because the stock price dipped, we don't even know why. So people ran to take their money out, and
They lost trust in the bank. That's why people went to go take their money out.
but why? I mean, what started the whole thing? What
We
started?
just
What? You just.
You're being
gonna-
intentionally obtuse.
Hey, stop it! Just answer the question.
I'm gonna have an aneurysm.
What caused again? What caused?
The valuation of the bank dropping,
Yeah. What
their
caused
portfolio,
SVB?
their
Yeah.
stocks,
Yeah.
that caused the trust in the bank to drop. The reason their portfolio and their assets dropped was an amalgamation of reasons. 1, mismanagement of capital. 2,
Wait.
sheer amount of money.
Hold on.
Sheer amount of money.
Oh,
Hold
wait.
on, bro. No, you don't get to interrupt every single time
Hey,
someone
no,
talks
but
after you beg for answers.
Then let me write down. Slow down.
No.
Let me write down. Hey, let me write down the answers.
Type it then. No.
Hey,
type it.
Write it down.
I'm
What?
done.
Hey, I wonder.
No, you're being intentionally obtuse.
Yeah, I
You
just
don't
wanna
want
write-
to. No,
I just want. You're not.
you're just
gonna-
trying to catch someone in the gotcha. I've answered it now 3 separate times.
Hey, I'm just trying to write down because you're not gonna let me stop you after each point. So I just want to write down your points. I'm not gonna do any gotchas. You think I do?
You spent
gotchas?
4 minutes trying to say stop, gotcha. I got to write it down.
I do.
And then you just said you're not going to stop us.
You've heard me do
You're done.
gotcha. I do gotchas. Hey, I keep saying you guys make good points. I do just the opposite. I'm totally following
Anyway,
your
Copper, it's been a
logic.
long time since I've seen you here.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I generally avoid the server now.
Sam, I was gone for about 7 months. I don't remember.
That's a long time. No, I keep saying you guys bring up great points. I'm learning so much. Well, why would you say that I'm trying to do a gotcha? I don't have a hope of doing. I told you already. My best point. I told you. I heard that it's the controller, whatever the bank regulator. They came out on a Friday night and they caused a panic. That's it. That's all I have to say. There's nothing else I can say. So that's it. I gave you my best shot. I need to maybe bring the evidence, but there's no gotcha. I'm not gonna get it. I don't have a plan to do a gotcha. Everything you're saying makes perfect sense. I'm not saying anything you're saying makes less than perfect sense, but maybe there's one more ingredient in this equation, which is what I heard, and I heard it from an actual like a bank investor, a guy that's all he does. He invests in banks, so that's his job, and that's what he claimed. He claimed that there was no problem with SVB. It was just the overzealous regulators that caused
That
the
is
panic.
like the most stereotypical like finance bro take ever. I'm sorry, I don't know who your friend is, but that's usually what people say when they make bad investments.
No. He actually.
What law did he cite? What law did he cite?
No.
That they passed?
Wait, this is the pragmatist. Let me just go back to the pragmatist. No. I would look it up. I didn't think we would get this far. So let me just look it up. So did the
No, you said he told you that
Yeah.
they must have had to have passed a certain law or something.
No,
What did they
regulators.
pass?
No, regulators don't. No, they came out with a public announcement on a Friday night, and when everything was shut down, and so that when the banks opened on Monday, everything crashed. Let me see.
Yeah,
banking-
because there's after hours trading.
I don't know, but I don't know. I'm saying they came out with an announcement. Let me see. The Federal Reserve Bank supervised warned Silicon Valley management as early as fall 21. That's not good. What was the reason failure? The bank's vulnerability resulted in high proportion uninsured deposits. What caused? I'm gonna have to. I don't have access. Anyway, that's what he said. And I don't see it. SVB crisis sparked 4-day panic as startup execs sought, according to California regulators, investors and depositors withdrew $42 billion from SVB by the end of Thursday, maybe that's what he meant. I don't even know what he meant. So
That's a bank run.
yeah, that doesn't. Not necessarily. It's just 42 million.
Investors withdrawing a sixth of the total assets of a bank is a bank run.
Yeah.
The bank had 250 billion in assets. They withdrew 48 billion. That's a fifth. That's 1/5 of the total assets of the bank. That is a bank run.
Let me see. 4 days of panic. How startup execs navigated SVB meltdown and prepared for the worst.
No bank could survive having a fifth of the assets removed. That's a guarantee fail.
I mean, they can always go and borrow money from bigger banks. Why not?
No, they can't.
Why not?
Because you can't replace assets with borrowed money.
Wait a minute. So I have
they were liquidating the bank.
No, what? I mean,
can't replace liquid
that's
assets
just
with
added
credit.
liabilities.
No,
that's like the worst thing you could do.
No, you could say it's
topping off debt with loans is like the worst thing you could do.
No. 1 second. I mean, as long as you're taking loans, up to your net worth, that's fine, right? You can take loans up to your net worth.
Banks can't do that.
What?
How can a bank do that?
I don't know. I'm not right. This has to do with regulation. So, but
because
theoretically,
they're already taking loans out from the FDIC.
No, but
how can they afford to take banks out at a significantly higher rate?
No, but theoretically, there shouldn't be a problem taking a loan out at up to the size of your asset, of your net value. Right? I'm worth $1 million. Let's say I have $1 million house. I should be able to take a loan
But that's
out.
not how a bank's net worth works.
No, but logically it should be fine, right? If my balance sheet says that I have assets at $1 million, I mean the net balance is positive $1 million.
Would you loan if you were a bank and someone came in and their house was being foreclosed? Would you give them a loan?
No. If a person
wouldn't.
No, if a person comes to me and he says, "I own a $1 million house. Here, I'll mortgage my house. Give me $1 million loan." No problem.
And then you, the bank, take a look at the mortgage of the house and you realize it's upside down and it's in foreclosure. You would say absolutely not. Because that's what happened. That's what happened. No bank would loan out. No reasonable bank would loan out because they're upside down.
No. Here again, a person comes to
me.
Go
try it.
Here,
go ask. I can go ask my bank tomorrow. I'll ask them if I can record the conversation. I'll ask them if my mortgage is in foreclosure, can I take out a loan against the house? They're going to say no.
No. Listen to the scenario. So I'm a banker. A person comes to me and he says, "I own a house, a $1 million house. Here is my deed. I own the house, $1 million, no problem. Here's the estimate. It's worth $1 million. Can I please mortgage my house and take out a loan on this house, $1 million against the house? If I default on the repayment of the loan, you take the house, sell it, take the money, give me the extra, whatever. Of course, as a banker, I would love it. That's perfect.
But that's not the scenario.
Why not? I mean, theoretically, a bank with some balance sheet, you're saying only 1/5 was being withdrawn.
Only?
Yeah, so there's still 4/5 left, so they can go take out a loan for 4/5.
But that's the thing. No, but the bank doesn't have any of that as liquid. The bank doesn't have any liquid cash. The bank was having to liquidate itself.
No, it doesn't. It can go take
Yes, it
out.
does.
No, it can mortgage its assets and go to another bank and take out a loan from a bigger bank. What's the problem? Why not?
And because they're in the middle of a bank run, no bank is going to give them a loan for it.
Why not?
That's why.
Worst comes to worst. Listen, worst comes to worst. You take right. They're mortgaging to you all the assets. You cannot lose. You can only win. You can only get the interest from the loan. This is the best deal any other banks would line up to give a loan.
Because there is nothing to get back.
What are you talking about?
There's nothing there.
What do you mean? This is exactly what banks are for. Banks hold money so that they can lend it out exactly for this case. That another bank has a positive balance sheet.
Show me an example of that happening.
What do you mean theoretically? This makes perfect sense.
No, it doesn't.
Where's the problem? What? So go on. What?
Because
Explain.
a failing bank
What do you mean
would
failing?
go to the
What do you mean failing?
because they're in the middle of a bank run. The bank run.
But who cares that there's a bank run? They have a positive net balance on the balance
They
sheet.
don't. No,
What
they
do you mean?
don't.
You said they only withdraw
Banks
1/5.
don't have, but banks don't have positive net values.
What you said?
That's the reason they loan out all their money. They don't have anything on the books. It's all loaned out.
No, but you said they only withdrew 1/5 of the net value of the bank. That's what you said.
Every time I answer a question, you just say why.
Wait,
you're not
what?
here for a truthful conversation.
Hey, that's not nice. I'm.
Yeah, you're stupid.
Hey, we're making good progress. Why would you say that? Is anybody there? Wait, did anyone leave? Oh my God, Jesus. Wow, that was a good conversation. And then something happened? Someone left us. Sam is here. I don't even know who I was talking to. I didn't look at the names. I guess I could look at the video. Very difficult to see the let me see. No, not auto. Give me full 720 pixel pragmatist. Let me see who was in the room. Oh, we cannot see who was in the room. Oh, wait a minute. Pragmatist. Oh, there were a bunch. Oh, capitalism. So he's gone. He was a really informative person. Really good. Great to talk to, but I guess he saw what's coming. He saw that I was making he saw that I was making a good point. A bank run for 1/5, so 4/5 of the net value of the bank is still available. They could have easily gone to another bank, take out a loan, and covered, and the bank run would have stopped, and everything would have been fine. No one would have lost a dime, and the shareholders of the bank would have been everything would have been perfect. There was no reason for this for the foreclosure of the bank. Absolutely no reason in the world. But who closed anyway? They ran away. Okay, what can you do? When people run away, that's an indication of something. Anyway, all right. I don't know what's happening. I guess they ran away. All right, that was a good discussion. Too bad people behave this way. Really too bad. Really too bad. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. I think there's 2 people here, but I don't know who you are. Thank you for watching. I certainly learned a lot. I learned so much from these debates. Like you never expect you think, all right, well, let's have a debate about there is no banking crisis. Like you're thinking, there's no way I'm gonna learn anything from this. And then suddenly, and then they come up with all these, everyone knows a little bit of details and everybody throws details at you, and suddenly you're learning so much in real time. It's unbelievable. The best way to learn is to debate. Anyway, everyone, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. I guess I'll see you tomorrow at 11 because tomorrow night I'm not streaming. All right, have a great day.